A delayed reveal by the EPA did little to change the outcome of the renewable fuel standard. Farm state lawmakers and trade groups expressed a myriad of emotions at the decision.
Well, we're very disappointed, frustrated, and quite frankly, a lot of the people I talked to are a little bit angry. We had a chance to restore the integrity of the renewable fuel standard in a way that would provide certainty for farmers and for the markets, that would have boosted those markets when farmers desperately need it. And instead, President Trump turned his back on certainty for farmers and instead approved an alternative plan by EPA, which allows them to still have discretion over the program and whether or not it will ever live up to what it's supposed to.
Major corn-producing states help supply the 40% of the product needed for ethanol production. However, the EPA issued 85 retroactive exemptions in just the last 3 years, which cut demand for ethanol by about 4 billion gallons, according to the Renewable Fuels Association. Farm state lawmakers hope the EPA would end the exemptions they'd been giving to refiners.
I think we've got the White House on the record, the President on the record, committing to 15 billion gallons of ethanol. And now I guess it comes to the point where we say, prove it to us. Prove it to us. We would have liked to have seen this rule gone another way, but there is an opportunity now over the next year and years into the future to prove to us that EPA can deliver on that commitment to deliver 15 billion gallons.
Many of Iowa's elected officials have long been holding the president to a promise made in the Oval Office this fall.
I expect to be carried out what we agreed to in the Oval Office on September the 12th.
Missing from the rule is language adding ethanol gallons into the nation's gasoline supply based on exemptions granted in the past 3 years. The EPA will instead base oil refinery exemptions on Energy Department recommendations.
But in the past, the Department of Energy estimates have been half of what the EPA has actually granted. So those two things don't match up very well. And that gives us very little confidence that EPA will be able to follow through and actually fully account for the small refinery exemptions.
President Trump campaigned in Iowa on the benefits of renewable fuels. He's made more than one trip to the state, even as at least 20 U.S. ethanol plants have closed temporarily since September of 2018.
Absolutely is the White House. The president clearly is the boss. But we do think there was something lost in translation between an agreement that was made, again, with our governor, with our senators in the White House, and how it played out in terms of a rulemaking at EPA.
On the same day of the RFS news, the American Petroleum Institute announced the U.S. produced a record 12.8 million barrels of crude oil per day in November, as the U.S. became a net exporter of total energy. For Market to Market, I'm Paul Yeager.